Hey everybody, Raven here with a little sufficiently advanced witchcraft devlog update, if you will. So, we've been showing off kind of screenshots and things that look more or less like this, kind of showing what we call the village mode. But really, our game is going to have two primary modes to it. So you have your village mode, where you're actually like solving problems for the villagers. And then you have what we call the grimoire mode, where you're learning new spells, you're kind of digging into the lore, and it's where you're sort of figuring out how to do things, so that when you're in village mode, it's almost like a sandbox where you can experiment and play around, and then in village mode you can actually like use those things that you've learned in the grimoire to solve the problems of the levels. So this is mostly what we've been showing off so far, but this is what we're currently working on, which is the grimoire mode. So we've talked a little bit about the Octave and Witch script engine. So that's what's creating this left side here, where the actual like text and the spells and the writings of other witches will appear. And then on the right is going to be this area where you can actually like interact and practice the witchcraft, and where you're going to learn by doing in order to unlock different spells and different things like that you'll need in order to help the villagers as you progress through the game. Now, obviously, this looks like absolute garbage. That's because we want to get from this sort of, moody, atmospheric kind of 3D village view to something that looks a little more appropriate in a grimoire. So we've been playing around with shaders in order to kind of turn the standard village view into something that looks a little bit more like what you would find sketched into a grimoire. And so we have now a sketch view. If we take that and we combine it with the grimoire, we get something that looks a little bit more like this. I mean, obviously this is still a work in progress, so it's imperfect, but what it allows us to do is to literally make it so that this right-hand page is a playable, essentially a set of playable levels. So you can actually go through and solve problems and experiment in sort of a safer sandbox area in order to unlock new spells, in order to learn how some of the spells work. And it's using literally the exact same engine behind the scenes. It's just kind of a different view into a different level. And so we can automatically use the shaders to blend it in and give it this sort of sketchy kind of feel to it, which I think is going to give us a lot of flexibility and some options for doing some pretty fun things. Now, there is one key thing that we need to solve, one key problem that's come up. When we're doing this sort of sketchy view, you can't actually tell if, say, these lights are lit up, right? Because the colors are being overridden in order to create this sort of more sketchy, cartoony kind of look. And there's, the lighting is overridden to create, I mean, again, all this effect is playing with the lighting, playing with the colors, which are the ways that we had been indicating that these lanterns were being turned on by the spell. So without that, we need to figure out some way of indicating that without actually having changes in lighting or color. So, one of the things we're thinking about is maybe having like some like rays come off, give some sort of like very clear visual indicator. But that's something that, something we've discovered that we'll need to do. and at the moment we don't know exactly how we're going to tackle that. So that's kind of where we're at. We're getting closer and closer to our first demo. But yeah, this is what we're working on at the moment. Getting this grimoire mode fully sorted, fully integrated, and then we can start building out the proper levels for our initial demo. Then we can turn the keys over to you guys, and you can have a little fun with it. So that's all we've got for now. But until next time, this has been the Raven of the Rook and the Raven, and that's Sufficiently Advanced Witchcraft. Ciao.